It's not about to go down, it's going down. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. This is the day that the Lord has made. We're going to rejoice. We are already rejoicing and we're glad in it. Happy Friday to all of my family members and friends and those of you that are tuning in for today's show. Do me a favor very quickly. I want you to hit that like button. I want you to hit that share button. I want you to tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know Prophet Ramon, the squad. We are live on the Ramon Preston Show on this beautiful Friday, and it's about to go down right here on the Ramon Preston Show. Please hit the like button, hit the share button, tag somebody. Be sure to text somebody, tweet somebody, inbox, DM somebody, and let them know they need to join the Ramon Preston Show today, because Prophet Ramon is going to be talking about the 5 rules of the rich. Please, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to drop in the comments where you're watching us from. Whatever city you're watching us from, whatever state, whatever country, whatever planet you're watching us from, please let us know where you're watching us from, okay? I would really appreciate it. I want to give a shout out to my 2 sisters, my brother-in-law. We had 3 mentees show up yesterday here at Ramon Preston Enterprises for our first ever Millionaire Headquarters Day. So every Thursday, unless there's an exception, every Thursday, unless there's something that's going on that I'm just not going to be available, every Thursday in 2022, particularly in 2022, we're going to be hosting Millionaire Headquarter Days. And these Millionaire Headquarter Days are designed for those who are diamond members of our Millionaire Mentorship Program. So listen, I'm going to give you an opportunity at the end of the show to be a part of our Millionaire Mentorship Program, to join our Millionaire Blueprint, whether you would like to be a part of the mentorship program or our online Millionaire Blueprint training program. I'm going to give you an opportunity to be a part of it. Listen, you are 7 days into the new year. I don't know where you are with your goals. I don't know if you've been able to knock them out of the park and crush them, or maybe you've just been failing and flopping for the first 7 days of this year. Well, guess what? We want to get you reset today so you have the weekend to prepare yourself so we can start out fresh next week. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. I am your host, Ramon Preston, and every Monday through Friday, and the truth is, it's beyond Monday through Friday, because we have a new platform that we're going to be hosting the show on starting this Sunday. I'm super excited about that. This Sunday, we're going to be streaming on a new broadcast, a network broadcast platform that will be showing or airing the Ramon Preston Show every Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. It's going to be seen on Roku, on, I believe, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and it's going to be some other satellite networks that the Ramon Preston Show will be aired on. So we already have that deal locked in. We already sent our first clip to them for the first show that they're going to air this Sunday at 11 o'clock. So we're excited about that. Soon, within the next few days, or no more than just the next few weeks, sometime this month, we will be deciding on a very popular local television broadcast station here in Atlanta that we have been given the green light to air our show on once a week. I believe it is Tuesdays that we have a slot that we can air our show. So we're still just finalizing the decision on that, but we do have the green light. That's going to be a local television broadcast that we're going to be airing the Ramon Preston Show on here in Atlanta. I believe it airs also in Savannah, Georgia, in Rome, Georgia, and if I'm not mistaken, also on the border of Alabama, going close to Birmingham. So we'll cover all Metro Atlanta with this particular television network. And so this will be a network that you can literally go to your cable, satellite, or whatever television provider that you work with or use, you'll be able to find us on there. It's a very popular station. So I'm excited about that. And again, every Monday through Friday, we're here live on Facebook and YouTube. So welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I can say Monday through Friday, and I can kind of goof off and act a fool a little bit when we're live Monday through Friday, because the shows that we are airing on these satellite networks and these television broadcast networks, these shows have to be edited. We have to have an intro and an outro, and we got to do a little work to it. So we're not giving them this live raw content. So all of you that join the show Monday through Friday at 12 noon, you just get it the way we give it to you, right? You get it with my hat backwards. I ain't shaved. We just here grinding, doing what we do. But guess what? You still getting the game. So I want you to put in the comments what city you watching me from. And give me a little bit of how your new year has been. Okay, so in one word, tell me how your new year has been so far in the first 7 days. Can you do that for me? Just give me one word to describe how 2022 has been for you in the first 7 days. I want you to give me one word to describe how 2022 has been. I'm gonna give you my one word. My one word is amazing. That's my word. This has been an amazing year so far. 7 days into it, and it's already amazing. So just describe in one word how your new year has been, because I'm about to give you the 5 rules of the rich. Okay? So shout out to all of you that are already a part of our Millionaire Blueprint. If you have already gotten access to our Millionaire Blueprint, you are a student on Ramon Preston University. You log in on a regular basis. You train for business, for finances, for sales, for marketing, for leadership, whatever it is that you're training for. I want to give a shout out to you. Congratulations to you. Continue to be diligent and dedicated. If you are members of our business coaching community, I want to give a shout out to you. We haven't forgotten about you. Every week we host a coaching call for our coaching clients. I have hosted a few coaching sessions this week with some of our coaching clients, and I'm looking forward to continuing to help you crush it in 2022, just like so many of you have done in 2021. And I want to give a new shout out to those of you who are either joining our Millionaire Mentorship Program, or you're already in the process of getting what we're giving you in our Millionaire Mentorship Program. So one of our first Millionaire Mentorship Program members, we hosted a coaching session with them yesterday. As a matter of fact, during this initial one-on-one coaching session with this client that's a part of our Millionaire Mentorship Program, I had one of my mentees in there. Someone was sitting in with me. I wanted them to get a feel of how we walk our clients and our mentees through consulting and coaching sessions. And so it was very eye-opening for them, very interesting for them to see how we do what we do here every day. You know, a lot of times when you see people on social media, you just kind of feel like they really not doing a whole lot of the stuff that they say they doing, because it comes off as if all they're doing is just getting in front of a camera talking about stuff that you should do as if they not doing it. But the truth is, people who have real businesses are actually running real businesses. And like me, many people are giving you a glimpse of what we're doing in real time, in real life, every day we show up in our offices. And so I'm just grateful, I'm thankful, I'm humbled and honored to be in a position that I can not only live what I share with you behind the camera, I can teach it, I can prove it, and I can be an example to you that it works when you work it. So if you are just coming on for the first time, we want to welcome you to the Ramon Preston Show. We have hundreds and hundreds of Ramon Preston Show videos that you can go back and rewatch from all of 2021 since we launched the show. The end of January, the end of this month, will be 1 year since we officially launched the Ramon Preston Show. And even though I'm still scrapping with my old whiteboard, even though I'm still scrapping with my 50-inch, it's not a smart TV, what is it, like a flat screen TV? We're still working on our studio, and we're going to continue to work on our studio, because there will come a time that we will have a huge studio. We will have multiple cameras and camera workers and editors and producers and directors and all types of people moving around helping us to continue to do what we're doing for you. But guess what? I always tell people this, and I remind my team about it all the time. As long as I can get in front of the camera, I got a decent camera, I got a decent mic, I got decent lights, I got a decent place to sit and share information with you. Don't get caught up on all the things that, you know, like the, what are those things called? You know, like the outside stuff. You know, don't just get caught up on the material stuff. Listen to the content. Listen to do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? Listen to the content. It's the content that's going to change you. I don't care how good my camera is. I don't care how good the lighting is. I don't care how good I look when I'm dressed up. I don't care how good the digital screen is behind me. If what I'm saying ain't saying nothing to you and ain't helping you, then it ain't going to do nothing for nobody. So I want you to listen to me today, because today I want to talk to you about the 5 rules of the rich. That's what I want to talk to you about today. The 5 rules of the rich. Now, here's what I want you to understand. The 5 rules of the rich. Here's what I want you to understand. Please listen to me, pay very close attention, and you should be taking notes if you are a good student, okay? Here's what I want you to understand. I have made it a part of my life to study the rich. I've made it a part of my life to study the rich. And in my studies on the rich, in my observations of the rich, I have learned that there are certain patterns, that there are certain principles, and that there are certain practices that the rich live by that actually separate them from everyone else on the planet. This is very, very important for you to understand, because even if you are not a person who studies the rich, but you are a person who studies people. Maybe I'm a person that you study. Maybe there are other influencers on social media that you study. Or maybe there are people in your community or in your city or on your job that you study, because you want to learn some of the nuances or things that make them who they are. This is just the free footnote for you to understand. Whenever you're studying anyone for anything, all right, here's what I want you to understand. You need to make sure that you study their patterns. You need to make sure that you study their principles. You need to make sure that you study their practices. This is very, very important, because we live in a digital world. We live in a world that is full of literal and figurative artificial information and artificial intelligence, all right? And what I mean by that is, most of the apps that you go on to watch videos like this and to listen to people like me, most of the apps that you go on to socially interact and to engage and to observe and to participate in what is happening all around the world on a day-to-day basis, most of what you see is probably not even real. It's just a highlight reel of something someone has put together to deceive you or to just give you the perception that they are someone they're actually not. And so when it comes to you wanting to learn how to get to the next level in your life, wanting to learn how to be a real business person, wanting to learn entrepreneurship, wanting to learn how to become financially free, wanting to learn how to be a person of integrity and character and have longevity and create a foundation of wealth and legacy for you and your family, you're going to have to at some point study people. It's just no way around it. And if you are not putting yourself in a position to study people, then you're probably deceiving yourself to think that you're going to get what you need without studying people, because people have everything you need. Literally, people have everything you need. There is always a person on this planet who has something that you need to help you get to where you want to go. And here's what you need to study when you're studying people. You need to study their patterns. This has everything to do with the 5 rules of the rich, all right? But you need to understand this. Study people's patterns. What do you mean by people's patterns? Well, you just need to look at, I'll use myself as an example, look at Ramon Preston's patterns. How consistent is he? How does he move when it comes to business? How does he operate when it comes to family? What are his patterns in life? Can I go back 4 or 5 years and see that he's been inconsistent here and inconsistent there, but he's always talked as if he was consistent, but he wasn't? These are patterns. You wanna study a person's pattern. Did they go from 0 to 100? And if they did, how did they do it? Or if you can't find out all the details of how they did it, what seemed to be some of the patterns along the way, all right? So you want to study people's patterns. You also want to study people's principles, because if you, watch this, if you take upon practices of people, but you do not know their principles, you may be disappointed at some point because you have adopted patterns that are not really in alignment with your principles. So you want to study people's principles. Their principles are their philosophies. What do they think about money? What do they believe about relationships? What are their spiritual principles? What are their moral principles? What are their relationship principles? What are their people principles? How do they interact with family? What is their principle on giving and on serving? You need to study people's principles. Next, you need to study people's practices. What are the day-to-day detail, mechanics, and tactics and techniques and skills that they are utilizing in their businesses, in their lives, in their relationships, that has given them this perception as if they are successful? This is very, very fundamental and foundational to the 5 rules that I'm about to share with you of the rich. And so when I say, for years I have studied the rich, it doesn't mean that I have done this perfectly, because for years, I probably can honestly say I studied some of the practices of some rich people. There were times I studied some of the principles. There were times I studied some of the patterns. But once I learned that I needed to study all 3 aspects of the rich, or of any person that I am gravitating to or wanting to get closer to or know more about, I realized that this was one of the most powerful procedures that I allowed myself to go through, especially when it came to understanding the rules of the rich. So be sure, just a good footnote for you to take with you, that when you're studying people, particularly those that are perceived to be somewhere that you want to get to, be sure that you study their patterns, you study their principles, and you study their practices. So let's get to the 5 rules of the rich. What is the first rule of the rich? Rule number 1, the rich, number 1, refuse to lose. I want you to write that down. Number 1, the rich refuse to lose. The rich refuse to lose. Now, I'm not going to get into none of the studies and the science and the mathematics behind who is considered to be rich, because you can Google what amount do you need to be considered rich, and you're going to find out that there are different studies on that. Because you can find some studies that will say, I'm rich. The truth is this: there are some studies out there that show out of 130 million households in the United States of America, we have about 130 million households. Here I am, I'm giving y'all some studies. I can't help myself. I got to give you some studies. I just told you I wasn't going to give you no studies. And here I am running my big mouth giving you studies. I'm not even going to give it to y'all, okay? Do you want me to give you the study? All right, I'll give you the study. As if you just said, yeah, and I heard you. But there are 130 million households in America. Only 1% of households make $400,000 a year or more. So if you make more than $400,000 a year, you are considered a 1%er, okay? A lot of those studies that have broken those incomes down per household, a lot of those studies suggest that if you make more than $400,000 a year, you're a part of the 1% of households in America, and you're considered by definition to be rich. I definitely don't consider myself to be rich, even though I'm in the 1%, but I don't consider myself to be rich. I have a different income classification for what rich is. But again, I can't get into all those studies and surveys and statistics and the math behind it. But let's just be clear. People who are considered to be rich refuse to lose. This is one of their rules. They refuse to lose. Now, when I say they refuse to lose, what am I actually referring to? Let me explain to you what I mean by that when I say the rich refuse to lose, okay? Here is what I mean. What I mean by that is the rich refuse to lose money. Yeah, but everybody lose money. Well, not necessarily. Everybody don't necessarily lose money. They may reallocate money. They may redistribute money. They may, in a very simple way to explain it, they may move money from one place to another, but they're not necessarily losing money because they have a rule. They have a pattern. They have principles and practices that have given them the conviction to not lose money. Most people who lose money are nowhere near being rich. As a matter of fact, the people who lose most, if not all of their money, are not necessarily poor people, because poor people don't really have a lot of money. It's everybody that's in the middle. The people who live like they're rich, but they're actually poor. They're called middle class. Everybody's in the middle, okay? Most of the people who lose money are the people that are in the middle. But rich people refuse to lose money. Well, if you're not going to lose money, what are they actually doing with the money that they make? Here's what they're doing. They store for a score. That's what they do. They store their money. They store their money, and they also spend their money on income generators. So let me explain this, okay? The first rule of the rich is the rich refuse to lose. What do you mean they refuse to lose? They refuse to lose money. How do they not lose money? They don't lose money, or they refuse to lose money because the money that they make, they take it and store it. Another word for store is save. But they're not really saving the money just to put it up and hoard it and let it sit there for the next 40 years. They're just storing it until they find a score. Once they find a score, they're going to take that money from one place and they're going to move it or redistribute it to another place, so that on paper, that money that they stored and put in a score, on paper, it looks like they lost the money, but they actually invested the money. All right. Now, where they invest their money has a lot to do to complement them refusing to lose. But nevertheless, they store it for a score and they spend their money on income generators. So a lot of times when you see rich people living luxurious lives, they're probably not spending earned income, because their earned income was stored for a score. But when they are spending money, they're typically spending it on what they may consider to be, based on their business philosophy, it may be considered an income generator. So that means if I go and spend money on, let's say I just spent almost $10,000 on a digital whiteboard and some other little things for the studio. Well, that's really lavish, because I really didn't need a 75-inch whiteboard. I don't even know if the board's gonna work. The guys that I have working with me to help me put everything together, they was like, 75-inch? I was like, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking about. I just got over myself and I just clicked the button and ordered it. I saw 55-inch, I saw 75-inch. I went to YouTube, and the guy that was giving a review on the 55-inch, he was like, man, the 55-inch is good, but boy, you get that 75-inch, you gonna really flex. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I wanna do. I wanna flex. So I clicked for the 75-inch. I don't know if it's gonna work, but my point is, to a consumer, they may look at it and be like, wow, dog, you just extra. You got like a board bigger than your wall behind you. Is it even needed? Well, I don't necessarily know that it's needed. I don't even know if I want it until I get it. But it, for me, was an expenditure that can become an income generator. Why is it an income generator? Because it's making my job easy. Truth is, I'm going to use it as a deduction for my business, or write-off. Why? Because it is for my studio. It is for my business. And so that's how rich people think when it comes to spending. So a lot of things that they spend their money on are things that are income generators, because rich people refuse to lose. That's rule number one. So you got to get to a point in your life that, number one, you need to study the rich. Study their patterns, study their principles, study their practices, adopt them for yourself. And that first rule that you should be implementing in your life is that, man, I refuse to lose. I refuse to lose money. I refuse to lose assets. And whenever I do lose certain things, here's something else you want to think about. When you do lose certain things, let's say you do lose money. You did a deal. You put in 10K and you end up losing 20K. All right. So you lost. Let's just say you lost that. All right. You may lose some people. You may lose some things. You lost a car in the process. You lost a building. You lost a deal. Okay. Let's just say, if, for the sake of argument, rich people do lose. Well, guess what? They don't look at these as losses. These are not losses. Let me tell you what these are. These are lessons. And because they look at them as lessons, they use what you see as a loss as a lesson, and that lesson gives them leverage. So they take what you see as a loss. Man, I lost money. Man, I done lost some friends. Man, I lost a few things. They take it as a lesson. And they use this lesson as leverage to do more moving forward. When you look at this as a loss, guess what you're going to stop doing? You're going to stop using your money to generate more income. You're going to stop using your money to invest in opportunities. You're going to hold on to your money. You're going to contract, because the last time you let your money go to try to expand, you lost. When you didn't lose, you just gained the lesson that could have been used as leverage. Same with people, same with things. So you need to think about that rule number 1. The rich refuse to lose. Point blank, period. Rule number 2. Rule number 2. The rich pay now to play later. You got that? Rule number 2. The rich pay now to play later. Pay now to play later. Pay now to play later. I've been doing that for quite a while. Paying now to play later. Paying now to play later. Like, when I say pay now to play later, I really mean pay now to play later. Let me help some of y'all before I give you some points on this. If you are not in a financial position that you are financially free, your household is financially free, maybe your family is becoming financially free. If you're not in that type of financial position, can you really afford to take 2-3 days a week off? Maybe you work 5 days a week. Can you afford to rest 2 days? No, ain't that much rest in the world. You're just not responsible with your time. Can you afford to walk around with $500, $400, I think it was $500 Gucci hats and Gucci belts and drive luxury cars and live in the nicest of places and eat $200-$300 meals any day you want to eat? Can you really afford that? Can you afford that? Well, if you're doing that and you're not financially free, you're playing now, but you're going to pay later. So there are a lot of people right now who are playing now, but they're going to end up paying later. And it's not because they don't have a 401k. It's not because they don't have a better insurance policy. It's not because they don't own a house. It's not because of that. It's because they take the money or the income that they have coming in, and instead of using it to generate more income, to invest in more assets, and to use as leverage what they have coming in to grow and to become financially free, they play. They just want to play because they deserve a break. They earned it. They work hard to have fun. Well, you're not working hard enough if you are just having fun, but after the fun, you're regretting the fun because you're struggling for another 2 weeks. You're struggling for another 2 months. You're going on vacations that you can't afford. You're driving cars you can't afford. You're living in houses you can't afford. You're wearing clothes you can't afford. You're eating things you can't afford. You're doing things you can't afford because you want to play now, but you are going to pay later. Here's what the rich do. The rich pay now. They pay now. And that's all across the board when I say pay now. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. Number one, the rich will delay gratification. The rich will delay gratification. What do you mean delay gratification? Well, when I talk to my clients and my students and my proteges and my mentees, I often share with them stories. About how when my wife and I first got married, we sat down and we made some tough financial decisions. Like my wife and I, we're so good because both of us are pretty much, that's one of the things. I mean, I have so many things that I love about my wife, but one of the things I really, really love about my wife is that my wife is just as frugal as I am. I mean, we both are frugal. You know what I mean? Like I probably splurge more than my wife do because I have that mindset that, man, I'm gonna pay for what I want to pay for. I'm going to get what I want to get. But it's so many more things that my wife can do without. But there are a lot of things that I can do without and we've done without. But I remember when we first got married and we decided that we were going to be a 2-person real estate team and we were going to build a business and we were going to be successful. But we ain't have nothing. We were struggling, right? So we had to make some financial decisions. So we would always sit down and we still do it. After 19 years of being married, we still do the same thing almost every day, literally. We sat down and we looked at certain things that we needed, certain things that we wanted, and we decided what was most important. So for example, because my wife was the real estate agent, I wasn't the agent. I was kind of like the Mr. Fix-It guy, the hustle. I would just jump in and out. I don't care if it's fixing a toilet, putting light bulbs up, you know, doing some electric work, pulling a carpet up. You know, I was that guy. And I didn't mind doing it, but I was hustling on the side. I was doing jewelry shows, selling jewelry, running around Atlanta, going into these buildings with boxes of jewelry. I just did whatever I needed to do because I'm just a hustler. I'm a go-getter. I'm gonna get out here and eat every day. That's one thing I'm gonna do. As long as I'm up and I can get 10 toes down, I can get out here anywhere. I don't care if it's a jungle, and I'm gonna find something to eat, and I'm gonna make sure me and my family are good if it's just for the day. And that's how I was groomed, even in the streets. I was raised that way, so that is like embedded in me. But anyway, my wife and I, we started looking at different things, okay? So we got to the telephone. We realized, okay, we don't need a phone at home. This was pre-internet, you know, pre-Wi-Fi, pre-computers and all that, internet and all that. So my wife needed a phone because she was a real estate agent and people were calling her more frequently than they were calling me. So instead of me paying $60 a month for a second phone, we looked at it like my wife needed, okay, that's $720 a year, somewhere around there. Why are we gonna spend another $700 something just for me to say I got a phone? At the time, I was like, I'm just not that busy. It's just not that important. So I got a prepaid phone. So I would get like a $25 prepaid card, and I'll just use that card and those minutes on an as-need basis. But the fact that I did that, it was saving me at least $30, $40 a month. And I know it kind of like sounds like, dog, you just nitpicking and scrapping, but that was then. You don't necessarily have to do something like that now. I'm just giving you an example. Instead of us having 2 cars, we decided to have 1 car. So we would just have 1 car payment. We could have 1 nicer car instead of 2 sliders. Those are the decisions that we had to make to pay now so we could play later. Now we could drive what we want to drive. We can live what we want to live. We probably got more phones that we pay for now, because I know I pay for probably 5, 6 phones. It don't matter. But guess what? I paid a price so I can play or pay any price. So you got to understand, delaying gratification is saying, let me just give myself a couple years. And now you may be thinking, well, Ramon, if I make a commitment today to pay now and play later, and just get my finances together and live beneath my means and save more and store more and just really put myself in a position that I can be financially free, how much time should I give myself to delay gratification? I'm gonna be honest with you. Depending on where you are financially, you probably need to give yourself at least 3 years. At least 3 years. At least 3 years. And I know it's easy to say, yeah, I'm gonna just give myself 2022. Child boo, ain't nobody finna do nothing in 1 year. Now you can have hopes and expectations, you can have plans, you can have goals, you can be very, very, very radical and wild, because I'm like that, okay? But the truth is, most of what you're building may not necessarily be built effectively in a 12-month period. So delayed gratification, you need to give yourself at least 3 years. So that means if you made the commitment today that, you know what, I'm gonna get financially free, I wanna be a millionaire, I wanna put me and my family in a position that we ain't struggling and worried and under pressure and ain't got no peace and we stress. I want that. I wanna get past that, okay? Let's say if you make that commitment, right? I would at least delay gratification for 3 years. Now, it could change. You could have a big windfall and something can happen in 3 months and you done changed the game. But just in your mind, wrap your mind around the fact that, okay, I may need to give myself 2022, 2023, 2024, so that when I come into January of 25, I could be like Prophet Ramon is right now, talking big, flexing like, man, we good. That's what you should be in the process of doing. You want to get here. Or you could just wild out in 22, especially during tax time. You just ball all out. You just do what you want to do. You know, I'm going to dress the way I want to dress. I'm going to eat what I want to eat. I'm going to live what I want. Okay, you're going to do that in 22. Then 2023 going to come and you're going to be around here. Oh, 23 my year. We going to do, okay, all right, we're going to do it big in 23. But you still around here struggling. You still around here broke because you want to drive the nicest car. You want to live in the nicest place because you don't want roaches no more and you don't want to be in the hood no more with your ghetto behind. And now 2023 gone. Now you in 2024. And now in 2024, man, I know this my year. God gonna do it for me. And guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna land your behind in 2025 and you're gonna still be stuck, if not worse, in 25 than you were in 22. Because you refuse to pay now so you could play later. Or in other words, you refuse to delay gratification. Paying now and playing later also means that you need discipline. Discipline and daily habits. So that means in order for you to pay now to play later, you're going to have to get disciplined. You got to get disciplined. Like, you can't be so weak-minded. Every time you get a couple dollars, oh, I got to go shopping. You're just weak-minded. That's a weak-minded person. That's a weak-minded person because you don't have to shop. I know a whole lot of people and they get on my doggone nerves with that. Every time they get a little money, they in the store. They shopping. You can't afford to be in the store. Take your behind home and study and learn and get disciplined and develop habits that reflect your freedom. Your freedom. If you want to do something, just pull out your calculator and start doing the math on how bad life really is for you so that you can do the calculator and see how good life can be for you. So, rule number 2, the rich pay now to play later. They delay gratification and they get real disciplined and they develop daily habits. Rule number 3, the rich keep a calculator. That's a big one. The rich keep a calculator. Like, one of the most powerful apps you have on your phone is the calculator. Like, that should be an app that you use every day. I don't think a day goes by that I don't use this app. You can ask my staff, my team, my squad here, you can ask them, how often is he pulling out his calculator? And they'll probably tell you, probably 15 times a day. Every time we see him, he got his app open. Now, you might have other apps open, but those other apps are not helping you do the math on your life. So when I say keep a calculator, the rich keep a calculator, what do I mean? What do I mean by that? Here's what I mean by that. I mean 3 things. Number 1, the rich count up the costs. They always count up the costs on what is it going to take for me to get to a certain dollar amount. So when I did my calculations last year, I said, you know what? I need to get to 1M. And when I came into, which by the way we did, and when I came into 2022, I said, I want to go from 1M to 10 M's. And once I started doing the math, guess what I realized? I realized that I need to delay gratification. I realized that I needed to get more discipline. I realized that I needed better daily habits. I realized that I needed more people. I realized that I needed more investments, more assets. I needed more effort. I needed to find more time. I needed to find more creative ways to go from 1M to 10M. I don't care if it's 1M to 10M, from 1,000 to 10,000, from $0 to $20. Guess what? You need a calculator and you got to count up the cost. What is it going to take for me to get there? What is it going to take for me to get there? What do I have to give up? And what do I have to step up on? So keeping a calculator means that you are counting up the costs. Number 2, it means that you set quantifiable goals. goals. That means you're doing the math on the goals. So you're not just saying, oh, I want to make 100 grand this year. Well, what does it look like mathematically? 100 grand this year looks like $8,500 a month, which looks like about $2,200 or $2,100 a week, right? But how does that $2,100 a week show up? How many products do I need to sell? How much time do I need to put in? What type of job do I need? What type of business do I need? Who do I need to connect with? How many phone calls do I need to make? You got to set quantifiable goals. If you can't quantify with numbers your goals, you don't have goals. They're nightmares, okay? Number 3, the rich keep a calculator because number 1, they count up the costs. Number 2, they set quantifiable goals. And number 3, guess what? They do the math. And I'm from the hood, so it ain't M-A-T-H, it's M-A-F. They do the math. They do the math. They do the math. They do the math. What do you mean do the math? Every decision that I make, I need to do the math on that decision. I need to do the math on that decision. How much is it costing me mathematically to make this decision? How much am I getting or how much am I giving up to make that decision? Like, for example, there are people you could be around every day that you've never done the math on. Like, how much are they costing you just to be around them? Maybe there are some people you need to be around. I always tell this to people that I talk to who call or talk to us and ask us questions about our mentoring program, our coaching services, our online training program, and they like, man, them prices high. No, how much is it costing you not to have this information? That's what you need to be doing the math on. You don't need to be doing the math talking about, man, 1,500 too much. Man, 3,000 too much. 5, 6, 7,000. Well, how much is it costing you not having that? That's what you need to do the math on. Because I'm not going to be doing the math on, oh, how much does it cost for me to buy that? For real? I'm not even looking at the price of what it costs for me to get something that I know is going to help me get somewhere I need to be. I'm not even looking at the price. I tell people a lot that I do business with. When I need what they have, just send me an invoice. Send me an invoice. The guys that are helping me build my studio out, I didn't even ask them how much they charged. I didn't. Once we talked and we connected in the spirit and we're part of the same faith community and they heard my heart, they saw my vision and they was like, we see what you want to do, Apostle. They call me Apostle. And they was like, we got you. We're going to do ABC. We're going to do EFG. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When we do this, it's going to result in that. You're going to be able to do this, that, and the other. If you need anything after that, we can go from there. We can start here. They showed me the whole picture from A to Z. From a small studio like I got here to a large studio when we get our own facility. And I was like, you know what? I'm in. When can you come? When can you start? They told me when they can come and start, and they came and start. I ain't say nothing about how much it's going to cost, dog. Hey, man, y'all ain't going to lowball me now. You know, don't do me like that now. Don't dog me. No, I don't care. You know why? Because I'm not doing the math on them. I'm doing the math on me. How much is it costing me not having the right people in my life? See, the rich keep a calculator. They count up the costs. They set quantifiable goals. And number 3, they do the math. So keep a calculator. Rule number 4. Rule number 4, the rich use A over E. Oh my God. This is going to be a good one. I wonder if anybody can figure that out. A over E. Do you know what A over E means? Anybody want to give a shot? Anybody want to give a shot at that? Put in the comments what you think A over E means. I only can look at one platform at a time, so let me just see if I can find somebody to put some comments in. I want you to comment on, what do you think A over E means? The rich use A over E. Anybody want to take a shot at it? Bada bing, bada boom. Anybody want to take a shot at it? Bada bing, bada boom. What does A over E mean? The rich use A over E. Here's what it means, because some of y'all might be too slow. The rich use actions over everything. That's what the rich do. The rich use actions over everything. The rich use actions over everything. Let me tell you what poor people do, especially middle class people. And I ain't trying to shade nobody. I just had to learn this. The rich people, they make up in actions what other people have in education. The rich people, they make up in actions what other people use education for. The rich make up in actions what other people use strategizing for, analyzing, contemplating. Oh, let me go pray about it so I can talk to ABC about it. Let me make sure somebody give me a prophetic word on it. All that stuff is good, but none of that stuff is going to substitute actions. Not even your prayer. And I got biblical scriptures to prove that. Your prayer will not substitute some actions. Because after you pray, you're going to have to get up off that floor. You're going to have to open up your eyes. You're going to have to say in Jesus' name, amen. And after the amen, you're going to have to implement an action. All right? Jesus did the same thing. He taught the same thing. So the rich use A over E, or in other words, actions over everything. All right? What does that mean? That means, number one, the rich understand that being is doing. Do you understand what I just wrote down? Being is doing. So a lot of people, they get so caught up in, man, I'm trying to become this and I'm growing into that and I'm learning and I'm developing and I'm studying. Well, at some point you got to take what you learn and you got to do it. So you could be so caught up on being, I'm trying to become this, or I'm going to school to get this degree, or I'm studying to get that. Well, guess what? Being is doing. So if you're studying to do something or to be something, you need to learn to do what you're studying to be. Serious. Okay? Here's something else you need to think about when it comes to actions over everything. The rich understand that excuses are, this is powerful, are abandoned efforts. Did you hear what I said? Excuses are abandoned efforts. So people who have excuses are people who have abandoned efforts. So when you don't see a certain person making effort to do something or taking actions on something, but they always talking about what they finna do. Man, I'm in the process of doing this. Girl, you know I'm about to do that. You ain't about to do nothing. Because all you doing is using everything over actions instead of actions over everything. Because the rich, they understand that being is doing. So if they're going to school to be something, while they're in school learning to be it, they're probably leaving school or while in school or before school doing what they're learning to become. So don't wait until you get good at being something. Why don't you just start doing it so that the doing turns into being? See, this is what I had to learn. And it was easy for me to learn because I dropped out of school several times. I ended up getting a GED. I was a loser. When I came out the streets and got saved and became a preacher and really started living right and being a regular citizen, I realized very quickly that, man, I ain't got no education. I ain't got no degrees. I wasted all of my teenage years in the streets getting high, going in and out of jail, selling dope, trapping, hustling, wilding out. Now I was a young 20-something year old newborn Christian that really didn't have nothing to stand on. I didn't have no skills. I didn't have nothing. But what I had was a determination. I had a determination that, man, I'm not going to live my life struggling. I'm not going to do what my parents did or what they didn't do. I'm not going to follow that path. I'm not going to continue to perpetuate the same cycle. In other words, I'm not going to let nothing, I'm not going to let excuses, I'm not going to let everything else stop me from taking actions and using my efforts. And guess what? I did that. So everything, people who don't know me might not know this, but the people who do, they do. Everything that I know, at least 99%. I'll give a few people maybe 1%. But almost everything that I know about business, about ministry, about preaching and leading and theology and hermeneutics and homiletics and all the scholarly stuff that I've learned about ministry and the Bible and the scriptures and history and business and entrepreneurship and holding companies and creative tax strategies and all the things that I do every day. I'm self-taught, meaning that I didn't have nobody that gave it to me. I didn't sit in a college school and get it. I couldn't afford it. I just couldn't make that happen, right? I didn't have the money. I didn't have the background. I remember at one point back in the early 2000s, maybe in the year 2000, 2001, I went to the Career Center, tried to get like a Pell Grant, got denied because the Pell Grant was federal government related and I'm a convicted felon. So they was like, no, dog, we can't do nothing for you. So that was my only shot and that blew up. But I didn't care because I was like, hey man, I ain't got nothing to lose. I come from the streets. I come from nothing. So guess what? I'm going to teach me. I'm going to figure it out. And I remember the first educational content that I ever got, it was from Goodwill. And it was a Encyclopedia Britannica set. And I was so happy about that because remember, we didn't have Wikipedia. We didn't have Google back in 2000 or 2001. So I had Encyclopedia Britannica and I would go to Goodwill 2 or 3 days a week and I would go to their book area. They sell quarter books and 50-cent books and literally I would pull every book. I mean, I can't even tell you how many hundreds and hundreds, probably over 1,000 maybe at this point in my life, maybe 1,000 or 1,500. But I know it's been so many books that I've read. It's definitely over 1,000 probably, because my brain is on 100. I have taken in so much information, but guess what? I just felt like I have to. I don't know anything. You know what I mean? Like I did the same thing with the scriptures, with the Bible, with studying to be a minister and a preacher. All I'm saying to you is I'm an example that actions over everything will get you to where you want to go. I am living proof that actions over everything works. Being is doing. Excuses are abandoned efforts. If you have excuses, it's because you have abandoned your efforts. I'm going to give y'all church people a scripture. Faith without works is dead. James in the Bible, Pastor James, Jesus's brother, he said faith without works is dead. So you can have all the faith you want. If your faith ain't got effort, if your faith ain't got no action, child, please, God, like, go on somewhere, have several seats. You ain't ready. That's what God's saying. You ain't ready. You calling on heaven. You want the angels to be dispatched. And the angels like, dog, you want us to work, but you ain't working? You want us to have action and to put forth an effort to help you and you ain't doing nothing? Child, boo. Come on, somebody. Y'all got to tighten up. The rich know that. And last but not least, the fifth rule of the rich. The rich, listen to this. This is the most powerful one right here. The rich, number 5, the rich, please hear this. The rich scale through, I'll explain all this in a minute. They scale through speed, systems, processes, and people. This is what the rich do well. I want you to write that down. The rich scale. What do you mean scale? Well, if you're going to get rich, you have to be doing something or be a part of something that's scalable. That's scalable. I was talking to a group of people yesterday about this. If the job that you're on, if the business that you're in, if the products and services that you are selling are not scalable, you're not going to get rich doing that. Like some of you are so dedicated and married to the idea of what you're doing, and what you're doing is not scalable, so you can never get rich doing that. You have to find a vehicle, a vertical, an area, an industry, a market, a product, a service that you can actually get into that's scalable. Otherwise, all you're going to be doing is hoping you hit the lottery, hoping somebody that's got a little money put you on, hoping one of your crazy videos on TikTok go viral. And if none of that happens, you stay po. You stay middle class, which is po-po. You stay broke. You stay struggling. You stay unfulfilled, which means you never make the impact you really want to make. You never serve the people you really want to serve. You never be a blessing to the things that you want to be a blessing to, because what you were doing was not scalable. It's got to be scalable. I probably talk more entrepreneurs out of what they do as entrepreneurs than other coaches and consultants do. Because when they tell me what they're doing, I'm like, you ain't gonna get rich doing that. Just because somebody got rich doing that don't mean that you're gonna get rich doing it. You gotta look at people's patterns, people's principles, people's practices. So just because one person or maybe a handful of people or maybe a couple thousand people started selling hats or started selling sweaters and they went viral and blew up, you don't know none of the details as to how it happened. But all you do is see them on social media showing they behind, making what do you call it? Making video clips and reels, and they made it, and you thinking, man, I'm gonna go ahead and start me a little apparel line, or I'm gonna start me a shoe line, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna write a book, or I'm gonna start selling this. It doesn't mean that's gonna get you rich. You don't even know what's behind what they're doing. So you cannot just make that conclusive determination. But what you can conclude or use as a predictable practice is that if what you have is scalable, you have a better chance of getting rich. Man, I'm giving y'all free game today. So the rich, they scale. Here is what scale looks like. You are right here. Scale is you're here, right? And then you jump in a vehicle, a product, a service. You become a part of a program. You learn a certain skill set. You start a certain business or you get a certain position. And that position is scalable, that can bring you from here to here. That's scale. If you're working on a job or you're in a business and it's like you up, you down, you up, you straight, then you up a little bit, then you down, then you straight, then you up, and then you back down, and then you up, and then you down, and then you up, and you never scale. It's not that you can't be rich. It's not that you can't scale. It's that you're in the wrong thing. So the rich, they scale. Well, how do they scale? Number one, they scale through speed. What do you mean through speed? Well, they go from idea. They got an idea. When they get an idea, guess what they do? They turn that idea into a product, and they go into the market and say, hey, I got a product I want to sell. I got a service I want to provide. Click here so you can buy my product or see my service. Text the word millionaire or whatever the call to action is. They're using speed. Guess what other people do? Other people get an idea. Oh man, I hope it's the Lord that just showed me that. Man, I wonder if this thing will really work. Man, let me go ask my cuz. Hey cuz, I just got this idea. You know how many people I've talked to as a consultant, a real consultant and coach? Because I am one. You know how many people I've talked to either on a Zoom, on a phone, or in person? And I'm sitting there, whether they paid for that session or whether I just gave it to them on the house, and I'm sitting there listening to them. You know how many people I've heard say, oh my God, I've had this idea since I was 20. I've had this idea since I was 18. I had this invention since I was 32. And I'm thinking, what? And you never used speed to go into the market? Now somebody else done took your idea and making money off of it. The rich scale their businesses or their finances and income through speed, but they also scale it through systems. So if you're in a business or in an industry that it continues to require just your action, your time, your skill, your effort, your capability, it's not scalable. You've got to figure out. And there's a way to do it. There are many ways to do it. I teach this and I coach people on this. You've got to take your ideas, your products, your services, your skill set, and you've got to figure out how to convert it into systems so that now the system is able to stay moving forward or move you up even when you ain't moving forward and moving up. But they also scale through processes. So you got to get good at processes. Like systems and processes is so underrated. It's so underrated. It's so underrated. I just had a client that told me the other day, they was like, oh my God, I listen to you all the time. And you always talking about systems and systems and systems. And they was like, I never understood what you meant until like just recently. And they was like, boom, the light came on. That's what he means by systems. I'm like, yeah, because if you want to get rich, if you want to be a millionaire, if you want to have financial freedom, at some point, you got to be a part of systems that have processes. And guess what? The rich scale through people. They don't mind getting the right people in their life. They don't mind paying for coaches. They don't mind paying for mentors. They don't mind paying for staff, employees. People who are in the middle, they so cheap and stingy, they don't want to pay for nothing. They always trying to get it for the low, and they always living on the low. So if you want to be rich, meaning that you want to get out of the low class, out of the middle class, and you want to move into that 1 percentile of the 130 million households in the United States of America, guess what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to live by the rules of the rich. And these 5 rules are just 5 of the countless rules and regulations and laws and patterns and principles and practices that the rich live by. And that's one of the reasons why I want you to consider joining our Millionaire Blueprint, or I'm trying to pull up my picture right now. I want you to consider joining our Millionaire Mentorship program, okay? Whichever the one is that you would like to join. Y'all see I'm bootlegging. I got my pictures up, my photo album up. Hey, you got to do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do. Because there will come a time I wouldn't need to do all of this. And I do have an amazing CMO and staff. And if I asked them to come in here and do it for me, they could. But they know I'm just controlling the narrative while I'm controlling it. Because when I give control up, I'm no longer going to do it. But for now, you see I got it up one way or another. I could have just clicked the link, you know. My designer, she does an amazing job. And when she sees me do that, she's like, oh my God, you could have just put it on another, you could have put it on another slide. You could have just moved it over. Look, y'all, I got 2 clickers right here. I could have did it. I got all kind of adapters. I got 2 MacBooks in front of me. I got a screen. Man, listen, I'm straight from the hood. Listen, I'm just trying to give you the game. But having said all of that, if you know that you want to learn the rules of the rich, you want to put yourself in a position that you can become a part of that 1%, it is possible. I made it possible for me, for my wife. I'm going to make it possible for my family and for a lot of people. I just had a conversation yesterday when we were hosting our headquarters day here that I was telling my 2 sisters and my brother-in-law, I was telling them definitively, number one, we ain't playing no doggone games. We're going to come here every week. Y'all going to get this game. Y'all going to learn to become blueprint millionaires. And I made it very, very clear to them that you got to get out of the low class income category and the middle class income category. You got to get up into at least, I told them yesterday that you at least got to get to $300,000 a year. At least. Yeah. I mean, your worst case scenario, like kindergarten financial literacy, we're going to get you to $100,000 a year. That's what I was telling them. And they probably watching this, so they know I ain't lying. I don't be lying anyway. I don't be capping. Anything I say out my mouth, you can like take it to the bank, because it's like, man, this dude don't care. I don't care what nobody think about me, and I really don't. I kind of do sometimes, but I don't. You know why? Because where I come from, man, it's like, I don't even supposed to be here. I'm supposed to either be dead or doing a mandatory life sentence in prison at the very least. I really didn't have any other options living the life I live. So the fact that I'm a millionaire, I have a multi-million-dollar business. This company is going to become a billion-dollar company one day. My wife and I are financially free. My family is set. I have put a whole lot of things in place to assure that we ain't never got to go back. And we ain't going back. And guess what? I'm going to make that happen for a lot of people, because I promised God. I promised God. I made that promise many, many times. But I remember one of the last times I made that promise was when my wife and I were preparing to get married. That was 19 years ago. We got married in 2003. We met in 2002. When we was preparing to get married, I made a promise to my wife. I made a promise to my kids, to my parents who were living at the time, and to myself. I made that promise to God. I said, you know what? Once I get in a position to where I see the light at the end of the tunnel, that I can put my family in a position of security and not to worry and have to experience what my grandma tried to pull us out of. She never could, and whoever came before her and my parents, they never did. They were addicted to drugs and never could get ahead. I was like, I'm going to help a whole lot of people. And that's one of the reasons behind Ramon Preston University. And I'm just keeping it real with you. The reason I created Ramon Preston University, well, it's a lot of reasons. One of the reasons is because I don't have an education, a formal education, but I educated myself enough to be considered my own university professor and president. And that says a lot to what I was willing to do to put me and my family in the best position ever. But one of the other reasons why I created Ramon Preston University is because as a preacher, as a minister, as a leader, I'm a prophet in the faith community, and as an entrepreneur, it's so hard for people of faith to reconcile both of those worlds, because people of faith, we love God, we love God's people, we want to be humble, we want to serve God and his people, and we just want to do right, we want to please God, we don't want to be disrespectful or dishonorable or be a reproach. And so a lot of times we never get really into the things we would love to do in business, because it requires being aggressive. It requires being a salesperson. It requires being a beast. You know, you got to get a beast mode mentality, and it can get ugly. And so it's hard bringing those two worlds together. But that's one of the reasons why I created Ramon Preston University, the #1 platform for ministry and marketplace training. That's not just a slogan. It's not just a marketing slogan. It is actually my mission and my calling on this planet, to have a platform to show people like you, especially people of faith, that you can be just as anointed to cast out a devil as you can to do $1 million deal. And my wife and I, we've done them both, and I know it works, and I'm giving you the tools. So I want you to think about being a part of our Millionaire Mentorship program. We have 3 tiers. We have a gold tier, a platinum tier, and a diamond tier. So there are a lot of benefits a lot of advantages, a lot of features that are in each of these 3 tiers. One of the most important features in all 3 of these tiers is that you have an opportunity to go through an initial coaching session with me. That's going to be a 1 to 2 hour sit down, whether it's in person or via Zoom, and we will help make an assessment of what you want to accomplish within this 1 year while you're in this program, personally, professionally, and financially. And we'll help you determine and decide what type of structure you need. Maybe you need a holding company. Maybe you have a LLC, but you don't know if it's structured right. We walk you through that process. We help you identify with what systems you need, what processes you need, and we integrate that into that infrastructure. And then we put a game plan together so you can at least see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you also have a flashlight of strategies and action steps that you can take to see each step that you make along the way. And in addition to that, our Millionaire Mentorship Program provides you access to our weekly coaching calls. So every week you can drop in on a live coaching call with other community members that are interacting, asking questions, and learning from me. I'm your millionaire mogul, so I can't teach it if I'm not living it. And I'm living it, and I'm teaching it, and I'm giving it to our students, I'm giving it to our clients and our mentorship members. We also give you 1 year access to our Millionaire Blueprint. This is the online version of our business and financial training. So you have 1 year access to it. You can access this Millionaire Blueprint from your phone, your tablet, any device you would like to access it. You're able to learn on demand 24 hours a day. It's like having me as your mentor in your pocket or on your phone. Anytime you can click the button and you can get access to hear what I think or what I'm saying about a certain topic with regard to your business, your finances, or whatever ministry or wealth building dream that you're building for you and your family. We also give you access as a mentorship member to our quarterly 1-day events. These are mastermind workshops. So we take 1 day every quarter and we bring all of our mentees, all of our clients, our coaching community members in, and we train you on the nuts and bolts of certain pillars of business and finance. On Saturday, January the 22nd, just a few weeks from now, we're going to be hosting our next 1-day mastermind workshop. Is going to be on sales and marketing. We're going to be teaching you how to create a marketing system, marketing processes, campaigns to market your business. We're going to be talking about branding. We're going to be talking about messaging. We're going to be talking a little bit about your mission and your vision and what your statements of purpose need to look like. And then the next segment of that 1-day event, we're going to be talking about the sales process, showing you how to create a script, how to craft your elevator pitch and your value proposition to share it with people once you start getting people to respond to your marketing, if that makes sense. And so we give you quarterly access to those events. Now our platinum members also receive quarterly one-on-one coaching check-in. So that means every quarter for our platinum members in this program, every quarter we're going to have a check-in with you to make sure that you're on track. Our diamond members get all of the above from the gold and platinum, and our diamond members get monthly coaching check-in. So that means as a diamond member of this mentorship, this is really the best one. Every month we're having a coaching check-in. Plus, if you're a diamond member, you get access to come into our headquarter days. So you can spend some days with me, shadow me and my team, and learn what we have done and what we're doing to continue to move towards millions and millions of dollars of revenue every year. My goal is to go from 1M to 10M in this 2022 year. So what you're getting when you come here is like the action and the activity and the energy and efforts and the vibe of somebody who has a team that's looking to go from 5 full-time people to 20 full-time people, from $1 million company to a $10 million company. So you're getting it real and raw. It is what it is. So if you're interested in this or would like to know more information about this or our Millionaire Blueprint, you always have an option to get access to our online Millionaire Blueprint. All you need to do is text the word millionaire. Just text millionaire. We want to make it real easy for you. You can text millionaire to 678 922 1963. Text the word millionaire to 678 922 1963. Now, when you text the word millionaire to this number, here's what we're going to do. We're going to reach back out to you, of course, thank you and congratulate you for even making that step. And we're going to take about 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15, depending on the conversation. But we're going to take a few minutes just to walk you through an initial assessment where we will ask you a few qualifying questions. This is a part of my philosophy as a business consultant and coach. My staff, they know whenever we communicate with someone who could potentially be a part of our Millionaire Blueprint, our Millionaire Mentorship Program, our certification program, our licensing program, anybody that we speak to that can be a part of our family, we make sure that we properly assess your personal, your professional, and your financial situation. Why do we do that? Because we don't want you purchasing a program or a product that really doesn't fit your criteria, because we didn't ask the right questions and help you identify with where you are and what exactly you need to get to where you want to go. This is not just like some salesy thing that we're doing to try to get your money. It's like, gotcha, and then we're gone. No, we really service people. We want to help people. This is what my vision for my life is: to educate, to inspire, and to impact billions of people. All right, that's what my personal vision for life is: to educate, inspire, and impact billions of people. I can only do that by making sure that whenever I or whoever or whatever represents me comes into contact with you, that we're able to help you identify with where you are, what exactly do you need, so we can show you what we have that can help assist you to get what you want to get done. And that's what we're going to do when you text the word millionaire to that number. And once we identify with what that program or that product is, we will agree on the terms and the conditions, and we will make sure that we are clear on what we're going to do moving forward. Once we process your payment, guess what? We're going to onboard you to our program, whatever the program is, give you access to the program products or services or trainings, whatever they are. Schedule your initial session if that's what we're doing with the mentorship program. And we're going to help you get to where you want to go. That's as simple as it gets. So I want you to text the word millionaire to 678-922-1963. I love you. I may be live tomorrow or Sunday. It just depends. I'm definitely going to be in the office. I've already told my team I'm going to be in here doing some taping. I've got some new courses that I'm going to be taping tomorrow. Of course, I would not be dressed like this, but we have some new courses that are coming. We have hundreds and hundreds of video courses and training modules, on Ramon Preston University. And we add new training courses on a regular basis. So I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please do me a favor. Even if you do not text millionaire, even if what we're doing is something that you don't want to be a part of, please be sure to do a few things for me. Number one, please subscribe to our YouTube page. We're pushing to get to at least 10,000 subscribers. We have about 6,600 subscribers on YouTube. We really want to get to 10,000, and we really need our community's help. So would you please be so kind to subscribe? to refer our YouTube page to other people who are interested in business, holding companies, financial literacy, tax strategies, sales, marketing, biblical wealth building, faith-based content. Please have them to visit our YouTube page at Ramon Preston. And while you're doing that, also go to LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and make sure that you find me at Ramon Preston. You like our page, follow us, turn on your notifications so that when we drop videos, posts, content, that you're able to get it and enjoy it, because our goal is to help you get to your next level. Also, you can go to RamonPreston.com. You could go to RamonPreston.com. And when you go to RamonPreston.com, you will see information on everything that we are doing, okay? You'll find information about our Millionaire Blueprint. You'll find information about our Millionaire Mentorship Program. You will find information about our certification program. Maybe you're a coach and a consultant and you want to be certified. You want to learn how to coach and consult the RP way. We have a program for that. We also have a licensing program. Maybe you want to be a coach, a consultant, and trainer, but you don't have the content, the curriculum, the systems, the digital products. Well, you can become a licensee, and guess what? As a licensee, you can have access and authorization to use all of our content, all of our curriculum. You can actually sell our products through your business. We actually have a white label licensing that will literally allow you to take our curriculum, our content, and repackage it with your image and your name, and you're able to monetize from that as a licensee. All of this information that I'm referring to is on RamonPreston.com, RamonPreston.com. We also just launched in December RP Capital. It is a multi-strategy real estate investment firm, and we're currently looking for value add acquisitions. So if you or someone you know is in the market to sell a property and they just don't know, or you may not know what the value is, or you may not want to deal with the headaches and the hiccups of everything that you have to deal with to put your property on the market, to figure out the logistics, well, guess what? We have an entire team here at RP Capital who can walk you through that process, and we can conduct for you a preliminary underwriting assessment on your property. So feel free, when you go to RamonPreston.com, to click the RP Capital link, and you'll see all the information for our real estate investment firm as well. So we love you. We appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being a part of our community, our family, and most certainly thank you for watching the Ramon Preston Show. We'll see you here live Monday. But again, if you're on our email list, if you're part of our community, make sure that you visit the digital platforms, the iTunes, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, Roku, and I think it's a couple more. We've sent out a lot of information and emails already because our show is going to be airing for the first time on those platforms. That's one of the network broadcast platforms that we've gotten access to, and we're looking at getting another one right here in Atlanta. So love y'all. Have an amazing week. We'll see you Monday. Same place, same time, right here on the Ramon Preston Show.